What's up, everybody? Today we're doing another eXp testimonial. We do these to share with you guys insights, decision-making processes, and personal stories for eXp agents that are crushing it and how you can do the same. Today we have a very, very special guest. I believe, Braden Greer, you were one of the first 50, I think, eXp agents in Colombia, but we're going to talk about that and verify some of those facts today. So Braden Greer used to be a pastor. He's been one of the longest standing eXp agents in our market, and he has a really great story to share on how his journey has come about and to where he is at today as a team owner. So without further ado, Braden Greer, everybody. Braden, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me, Jacob. I really appreciate this. This is fun. This is a great forum to talk about something that's really important to both of us, really. And so I grew up in Rochester, New York, made my way down to the DC, Maryland area, came here in 2014. I was actually biomedical engineering. I always wanted to be an inventor and a researcher. So I did cancer research for about 4 years. You can look me up on PubMed, published cancer researcher, did some book chapters, blah, blah, blah. And then was a pastor for 12 years. And then got into real estate back in 2017. And that's a whole story unto itself. But that's kind of the quick overview.
Okay, cool. So bring us up to date, like where you joined eXp and you started as a solo agent. We met at an open house, I think, or a showing or something that I was doing near the Cobblestone neighborhood in the Northeast a few years back. And then you sold. I remember you going through a time where you were trying to figure it out, and you just started crushing it one day. And you always have these little another signs up, another signs down. You're just taking listings like a madman. And what are you working at? You working how many? Can we talk about that deal that you're publicly?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think so. I probably won't go into terrible detail, but I've got close to 80 pending home sales right now. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like from a guy who was pastoring, making 52 grand a year, which was decent, and counting every penny to, sometimes doubling or tripling that in 1 month is absolutely insane. Like I can't, sometimes I don't even think like, what do I do with that? You know what I mean?
Right.
How do I even process that? So yeah, so that's working with an investor right now, not exclusively, obviously. We're building a team and we're helping out our residential resale clients and whatnot, but that's been a pretty wild ride and really, really quite enjoyable. You know what I mean? I one of the things I found out, and we'll get into other stuff too, but I found out, I was a researcher and then I was a pastor. And these have nothing to do with money or building a business or that kind of thing. It's the helping careers, right? It's the knowledge careers. And I found out once I got in the hustle, I really like the hustle. That's really surprising. Like I never would have said that. If you asked me 20 years ago, do you like to hustle? I was like, no, I just like to plod along.
Yeah.
But when you get in it, you realize this is really fun and exciting and it's really great to take care of people in the process. So pretty wild.
That's cool, man. So, and now you have a team too that you guys are crushing it with, and that's only been recent, like the last year and a half, that you've actually been trying to grow a team.
Yeah, less than a year or so. Just as the business took off, and I felt like I was getting spread thin for my clients. I really wanted to get good teammates on board to really make sure that my clients were taken care of. Right, that's the big thing, is making sure they are just there's no not skipping a beat here, but they're just feeling like they are top priority.
Nice.
So that's the motivation for me for a team, because and I tell my teammates this. I think I'm a decent coach. I don't think I'm the world's greatest manager. I would love to be managed by you, not be managed by me in some ways. Because I'm just really unstructured. I was chatting with him about this, and I was thinking, Jacob is somebody who builds systems and does a great job with that and builds a business through systems. I'm like, let's get a bunch of business, and then, hey, do we need a system? Let's get a system in place. And and I just love that, because there's different ways to do this business. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things with eXp too, is like it is such a flexible, agile business model that if you're this type or that type or that type over there or no type at all, it's a great flexible business model for you. It doesn't dictate how you do the business. It just sets up the platform for you to be successful.
Yep. And we're owners, right? We're both growing eXp. Right. I think that's really cool that it's collaborative in that light. So before we get too deep in some of the eXp stuff, I like to kind of get an overview of the story. And then I want to go back and let's talk about when you first heard about eXp? Give us some insight where you were, what was going on in your life,
Yeah.
and you first saw eXp for the very first time.
Yeah, so back in 2017, July, August of 2017, I had my license, and I was hanging it with another brokerage, and I hadn't even done a transaction yet because I had just quit pastoring. We pulled back from that, felt called out. That was a really difficult last couple of years, but really the last 7 or 8 years just beat the snot out of us, to be honest with you. And so I was really low and discouraged and defeated. And I got my license because my brother and my dad had their license. I thought, well, it's a good backup plan, right?
Right.
But I wasn't sure I wanted to do it. So I got my license, not really sure. There was a guy I knew who also used to be a pastor up in Charlotte. And I thought I saw he had a friend in medical device sales on LinkedIn. So I'm like, that was what I want to do. Medical device sales, right? There's robots, surgery robots, all kinds of cool things that I could, technology I could learn and teach to doctors. Like that just sounded so cool. Well, that wasn't in the cards because I networked and networked and networked and nothing's happened. So he said in the process, he says, "Hey, have you heard about eXp?" I said, "No." But I gave him I didn't want to hurt the relationship. So I said, "Sure, I'll watch a video about eXp."
Right.
And then, he said, "Did you watch it? No. Did you watch it? No. Did you watch it? No." And I said, "Okay, I'll watch it." And I watched it, and the penny dropped immediately. When I saw the power, it was one of Brent Gove's, EXP presentations. When I
Yep.
saw the power of that, I'm like, okay, I'm in real estate. I'm a real estate agent now. And so, to be honest with you, EXP is the reason I'm even in real estate because I was so on the
Wow.
fence until I saw the power of this business model. It's so invigorating in that way that it really, I say it gave me hope. It's not my ultimate hope, but it gave me hope that I could provide for my family and so much more. So that's kind of what happened there. And so I signed up immediately, August of 2017. And there were like 11 or 12 EXP agents in the Midlands and Columbia
Yeah,
area,
so
so
I
not
was
50.
wrong. You weren't one
Yeah,
of the first 50. You were one of the first 10 almost.
I think so. And I knew like one or two. I got to know like one or two of them, and that was it. You know what I mean? It was I
Wow.
was totally alone actually for a long time. So I really had to slog through in that regard.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was at a time we were just talking about that today in the office that like nobody knew what eXp was. If it
Mm-mm.
was a brokerage, if they sell real estate, like what's eXp?
Yeah,
Who are
yeah.
they? So that's crazy, man. That's wow. You were early adopter, especially for this market. So that's awesome, man. So all right, so let's talk about, was there any other research that you did let's talk about the research, I guess, when you were considering becoming a real estate agent. What was your mindset
Mm-hmm.
before when you saw, I guess, traditional models, if you want to call it that, or whatever you were looking at? Like, what was your thought process of becoming a real estate agent and the opportunity within at that point?
Yeah. So again, for me, it really was a fallback plan. I kind of stumbled into it, just thinking, listen, no one would hire me, so I guess I'm going to have to hire myself. That's kind of what I was feeling like. But I was pretty defeated and discouraged, like I said. So, which is not really a great time to start a new like entrepreneurial venture either, because you've got to be like all in and on your game, and
Yep.
positive, confident, encouraged. So as I looked at some of the models, and they all have their strengths, right? But what I felt, and this is where one time, one of the brokerages offered me tens of thousands of dollars to go with them, right? When my
Was it you?
wife,
Wow.
what's that? Yeah, well, that was about a year in. Actually,
Okay.
I left EXP to work for a builder for like 5 months and came right back to EXP. I shouldn't have left. I honestly, it was a good experience. It was a good opportunity, but I'm better off, I think, if I had stayed. But you live and you learn. But in that transition point, when I was heading back to EXP, I was offered a lot of money. But my wife said, and she can tend to be a little bit more concerned about money than I am, right? A little bit more pessimistic. And she said, "Braden, that's a lot of money, but you won't like it there. You're not excited about that business model. That's not agile and if efficient and simple like you like." And that's one of the things that actually recently a new coaching a new coaching program, the success one with EXP, and my coach is helping me identify core values and then building my business and life out of those core values. And one of them is simplicity or efficiency. I'm still trying to get the right word, or agility. And that's the thing, is like and I'm getting ahead of us, but with EXP, the model is like, it's so efficient. There's no bureaucracy. There's no added on things just because this is the way we have to do it. It was built with the internet in mind. And so then it flows out of that. We didn't tack on the internet You know what I mean? When the internet came along, from the ground up, the engine was built with the internet in mind. And that's what I think, if you're talking about the models and the differences, for me, there's lots of other things when you get into the mechanics of it, but at the root of it, the model is so efficient and agile and exciting for me.
Got it. So eXp definitely was the winner in your mind when you were trying to make this decision. And were there any hesitations when you were looking at it, like concerns, questions, some things you really wanted to do some due diligence on before you made your decision?
Yeah, I mean, probably the biggest one, you look at it when you look at it for the first time and they say we want to give 50% of the company profits back to agents.
Yeah.
And you're scratching your head.
Like,
You're like,
how is this
are you
possible?
guys making any money? Like, seriously, like, how do these numbers work? And yeah, well, while I didn't get under the hood and saw that, now I'm 5 years out and I look at the financials every single time, and we're growing in real profitability every single time. So the
Yeah.
proof's in the pudding there. I know another brokerage is in the news and it's struggling with profit. And I'm so grateful that every year we're posting profit. We have a lot of cash in the bank.
And no debt.
And no debt. I mean, it's unbelievable. So that would have been probably one of the biggest things. I'm like, is this? And then it's unknown, right? At the time, like you were saying, if you were talking to somebody else, you did say, do you know have you heard about eXp, right? Or they would say, eXp, what's that? Nobody says that anymore. We're 85,000 agents, but when I started, it was totally unknown, right?
Right.
So is that a brand that's going to help me or not, or is it going to hinder me in sales? Turns out it hasn't hindered me. I think one time somebody said they wanted to go with something bigger. One time I lost one listing. That's okay. I'm good with that.
Right. So cool, man. So you're putting the eXp opportunity in a little bit different way, and I like it than how agile it is and those things that you liked about it and what you saw. So it doesn't sound like there was really too much hesitation. I'm trying to go into this next part where let's talk about once you actually came in, right? Let me talk about this real quick. I really like to go deep and kind of dissect, because everybody goes through this process. There's a lot of people that are on the fence and they're not sure they're on the fence, but they're pretty sure, and they're going to go through this. So I think this is really insightful. Like, what was your favorite thing when you first saw it? Go back to when you first saw it. You knew you were coming and you were like, I love this part the most right now. What was that?
Yeah. I think for me, it was probably the revenue share, because that was the thing that was so dynamically different, the power and the potential of that. And when I say revenue share, it's not just about an income stream. It goes back to that agility. So this business model is fantastic if you want to sell and you want to learn how to sell, because the split is great, because the support is great, and the live training is phenomenal, and the conferences are phenomenal.
Wait, say that again. Their agents sell homes at eXp? I thought
Yes.
they just recruited.
Yeah, no. I've sold 250 homes in the last 4 years, like mostly at eXp, right? So besides a little bit with the builder, but so no, absolutely, it's a phenomenal place to sell. Like, I think I wouldn't want to sell anywhere else. I mean, it's the support, the training, it's phenomenal. So you've got that piece, and it again. So if I think about it as like the core value of agility, but that agility provides so many great symptoms, benefits, right? And one of them is that revenue share. And so what revenue share affords you to say, you know what? I'm a trainer, I'm a coach, I'm an inspirer, I'm a recruiter, I'm a whatever, right? Like if you owned a brokerage, or if that's just in your wheelhouse, like for Strength Finders, I'm a woo. My friends always made fun of me for that. Win others over, because woo sounded so silly. But that is, so if you're just like, you know what, I love selling. I've done it for years, but this is actually who I am. I can do that with eXp, right? Or so I can be a trainer, I can be a coach, I can be a recruiter, I can be a salesperson, I can be a team leader. The agility of that model, I'm like, oh my goodness, the opportunities are endless.
Yeah. And there's the disclosure to that, right? Like when you watch the video about eXp and they have their disclosure about each, person, the eXp explained in 9 minutes is a great one. It has the disclosure, it really depends on your leadership ability and due diligence and stick-to-itiveness and follow through to lead.
100%.
But hey, look at it this way. I want to share this because you made me think of something. There was a guy inside of our eXp group, and he has a total of 100 people, I think, in his total organization. He's attracted, I think, 20, 30 people directly, and it's grown to that size. And he never once, he was sharing the other day, ever made a recruiting call, felt like a recruiter, put any time or effort towards it at all. Like he's like, for those people that are watching this and they're like, but I hear what you're saying, Braden, but I would never recruit. But you're talking about an additional income stream. I mean, let's talk about business for a second and get ourselves out of the agent mindset. Mm-hmm. And if you could find different types of ways to provide revenue into a company, whether that's through transaction fees or subscription or revenue share or stock ownership, or what happens if you have a bad month and you have this extra income that could actually come into your business to pay for your car payment, your house payment. Like that is what you're talking about. And this guy, right, with his natural ability is different probably than mine and yours. And he has an organization that he doesn't even probably do a lot with. And it doesn't feel like a coach or a trainer or a recruiter. Yet he introduced people just like you would at any other company, right? Am I right or am I wrong? If I was at Coldwell Banker and 100%. I loved it.
Yeah.
If I was at Keller Williams and I loved it, and someone said, I'm thinking about getting my license, whether there was profit share, revenue share, compass share, whatever is out there, right? At all, I would share the opportunity to say, I love my place and I love my broker. You should check it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And if you didn't love it, to share it, then you're probably at the wrong place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you would do that. So through that alone, that guy's story, I wanted to share that because there is going to be someone that watches this and says, but that's not what I want to do. And I lost a guy actually that was going to come to the team because he didn't get that. And he wanted to come to the team, but then he left because he said he didn't want to recruit.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you
don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, here's the thing too. So I've been 5 years and I have a handful of agents in my group. Pathetic, right? Like it's 5 years, right? But that's okay. I've been focused on sales and no one's given me a hard time. No one's saying, Braden, you're not out there recruiting. You know, it's just like, no one's given me a bit of anything, right? Except support. And I can call up Brent, Gove on the phone. That guy, first time I called him years ago, he didn't even know who I was. He spent time praying for my business on the phone, that like business would rain down. Like he's just loving on me, like out of nowhere. And that's something that's the intangible that you don't get right away, I don't think, until the penny drops more, is that a business model can be constructed so as to support each other. And that's what, I think that's what we all win. When you win, I win. You and I aren't connected in eXp. I did a lunch and learn with 2 agents yesterday, Lance Woodley and Gary Cross. We're not connected financially at all at eXp, except we're all owners, right? And we all want each other to win.
Yep.
And that's where there's the revenue share allows you to say, you know what? I love helping others kill it in the business if you want to do it that way. And I can make great money helping others kill it in the business. They win and you win. That's the thing. It's like, getting into sort of like the core values of it that are so cool to me. I've been doing some reading. I brought this and I said, this is the CEO of co-CEO of Whole Foods. And he talks about the power of a well-run business, to provide for all of its constituencies, not just the shareholders, but everybody in the business, the consumers and that kind of thing. Yeah. And that's where I think eXp really just crushes it. Is that the
initiative?
Yeah. The model, I mean, it just, it rewards good behavior. You know what I mean? It rewards helping behaviors. And that's what I think is so cool.
Yep, it spreads like wildfire. That collaboration, I think, was that hidden thing for me. When you get in here and you're like, okay, I get it. But then when you feel it, and I think that's why they say, there's 2 things I always hear when people are here and they say, tell me if I'm wrong, and you hear something different. I doubt it. But when they come, they say, I wish I would have came sooner.
Yep.
And then the second thing that they say once they're actually here is they're like, I've never seen so many people share like their truest, deepest secrets in the business at this level worldwide.
Yeah, 100%. What I tell people is the training that we get is not the best agents in the market who may be a little bit reluctant to tell you their secret sauce because you're in the same market, but it's the best agents in the entire company. That's who's doing their training. Not that I'm saying I'm one of those, but I just did a training at noon today, like a couple hours ago, just finished a training, and I'm just giving out my secret sauce. You know what I mean? Sharing what I do and sharing mindset shifts to help them, with confidence in the business. And I'm
Yeah.
getting actually paid to do that, by the way. I do it because I love it, but I'm getting $2,000 in company stock. No, 4,000, right? Yeah, $4,000 in company stock for teaching 6 sessions because of the Icon program. Like how
That's a
crazy is
good
that?
dollar per hour
Oh
return,
my
plus the
goodness.
future opportunity of the
Yeah,
stock price over
right.
time. Dude,
Absolutely.
it's a good dollar
Absolutely.
per hour.
Yeah.
So cool, man. So I think we've done a really good job. We spent the time's flying, man.
Yeah.
So now that you're here in EXP, like what's the opportunity now for you for the future? You're clear. You guys are having, you're clear on what you want, where you guys are going. You guys are crushing it right now with that many pendings, and your team is growing. Like, what's next for you guys? And it's the fast forward team. Did I get that right?
Extra mile team.
The extra mile team. I'm sorry, I will
No, you're
follow
good.
so many teams. The extra mile team in Columbia, South Carolina, Blythewood. Where are we taking this thing?
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, in some ways I plan, in other ways I think I'm just getting started, right? So I'm doing a lot of that groundwork with my coach now so that I don't just tack on some things without really understanding who I am and how I'm driven, so that they go the right way, right? But I would love to see my team grow into terms of like I don't want a huge local team, right? But a good, set of ninjas that just absolutely kill it for our clients, right? And grow that piece of the business while growing the agent, attraction side of the business. I have not focused on that. Like I said, I've been so focused on sales, and that's been phenomenal. It's actually put so much in my pocket that I could quit selling for a long time, right? And just do agent tracking if I wanted to. And I'm not planning on it, but that's where EXP offers those options. Like again, the sky's the limit. That's what's so cool is I don't just have to sell and sell and sell and sell.
Right.
I can supplement that income with other forms. One of the other things this class I've been teaching, I call it the soul of real estate, and it's really stuck in my craw. And it's similar to the message that these guys are talking about, where profit and the common good go hand in hand. Right? Capitalism is in the right hands is a force for powerful renovation in communities and societies. It really can help. So I really want to speak and read and write on that. I'm putting this out on the internet before I've sold. I mean, I've talked to people, but I've never put it out on the internet and want to do this. But it's something that's in my craw for a while, and do things like this where I'm interviewing others. How do you think about business and the common good, both with your your employees, maybe your shareholders, and also your consumers, right, and the world around you, your vendors that you work with. So many people are impacted by a powerful, well-run business. And so those are a few things on the horizon for me.
Cool, man. I'm excited for you. I love your story, and I love, we've hung out in Vegas at EXPCon and had lots of other interactions and known each other for quite some time.
Yeah.
And it's cool to get to know you this way. I'm glad we could get your story out there. What's one other thing that you would want to share with people? Let's talk to those people that are probably watching this and they are interested, and maybe there's someone else a little bit further and they're like on the fence, but they're not sure yet. What would you tell these people right now? You just want to scream it from the mountaintops. So they aren't those people. Well, they probably will be those people that wish they would have came over sooner, because they all say it.
Right.
But what do we want to tell those people right now?
All right. So I saw this on Facebook as a client of mine, become a friend. He's a chaplain. He's in Alaska, and he put a picture of a bologna sandwich on Facebook. And he said, I have, in like 20 years he's been married. He says, I thought a bologna sandwich with white bread and American cheese and slathered with mustard was the best thing ever, until I got married and my wife cooked for me. Now I can't imagine eating a bologna sandwich. He said, I had no idea a bologna sandwich was that lousy, but I thought it was so good. And so that resonated with me on a lot of decision kind of things. So you may, I know it's kind of corny, but it's fresh, right? You may be eating a bologna sandwich and think it's really good. It's because you haven't tasted fine cuisine yet. You have not had a homemade meal, and that maybe that resonates, maybe it doesn't. But it's one of those things that's kind of taste and see, right? Dip your toes in the water. Ask the questions. Tell the person that you're talking to the fears you have or the questions you have. Just tell them they're going to be offended. If they're offended, they're stupid. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
every good thing should be critiqued, and you should get under the hood and find out the good, and ask them for a tour of the EXP world. Jump in EXP world. It's so powerful. People are there like constantly ready to help you with whatever problem you have, whether it's getting paid or your website or email, like whatever it is. There's hundreds of people waiting to help, and
Yeah.
that's a powerful thing too. The efficiency and agility of that. We didn't even
So,
get there.
so I want to break down one more thing before we sign off for today is, like any good decision, you would want to do your due diligence.
Yeah.
But let's both be honest, Braden. Does EXP work for everyone?
No.
Heck
I mean, yes and no. I mean, like I can't imagine. I don't know who it doesn't work for, but I think if you really want to build your name and your brand, you can do that with EXP, right? But if you want to be the broker, if you want to have the authority, if you want to do all that, then it's probably not your spot. But if you would rather do all the things that probably you really love doing, selling, making money, helping others, and leave a lot of the difficulty and responsibility and compliance issues and all that stuff to somebody else, unless you just love compliance, then then it may not be for you, right?
Yeah. But even with the broker, even wanting to be the broker, I have a lot of people getting into business. I think smart people too, they know that's the leveraged position to make the most amount of money in this business. But it's like, look at this model, or people that try to recreate the model sometimes, really want to look at, and I know that's how things changed. And we're getting into some high level conversation here, but that's how things changed from Keller Williams to EXP, and it happened. But I mean, look, it's only one brokerage. We're not here telling you EXP is everything, but I think the biggest point that I want to make on your analogy with the bologna sandwich, just be careful. The people at the bologna sandwich factory are going to have a different opinion about your wife's cooking. Okay. Yeah. They're going to want you to still eat the bologna sandwiches.
That's true. That's true. And I don't mean any offense to anybody else that's eating a bologna sandwich, or because there's great brokerages out there. Don't get me wrong. But there's some of you that are eating a bologna sandwich and you don't know it. You know what I mean? You don't know what's out there. Some of you know exactly what's out there and you love it. Stay with it. Have at it. You know what I mean? Ask more questions if you want to, but have a great time, with real estate. But if you're like, you know what? I don't know. I might be eating a bologna sandwich. What is this thing, EXP? Then ask questions. You know?
Yeah. I think it's just about being open. If you're the type of person that is open to things, if you haven't actually done the research and figured out why does this not make sense for me, and you are listening to the crowd, to me, it's really just about are you open or are you closed? Are you going to be open to just look? Like, that's all it is to me. It's just look. And if it's still a no, I got people that see it sometimes and they're like, and they might not get it. And I don't understand why. And they have their own reasons, and that's cool. But man, when people get it, I know that was me. I was not recruited. I went and saw it. I was trying to solve a problem. And when I saw it, I was like you. I was like, this is awesome. This is amazing. It's so agile, like you say, and flexible. So
and so many people respond to what they think it is or what they've heard from someone else. That's another big thing. And that's a big thing with, when I was a pastor. It's like, you've heard a lot of things about the faith, but do you really know what it is? Like, and I'll help you celebrate. I'll say that's BS over there. Like that is not the faith, right? This is it over here. And I'm happy to and same thing with anything as you're exploring. It's like, whatever, that's not true, but let's talk about what's real.
Right. Yeah. How could you possibly know, if you've never had dinner from a wife, that what dinner would taste like? You can make all kinds of judgments around it, right? If you've only ever had bologna sandwiches, like that's the conversation that we're having. So I think we beat that horse, man. I want to wrap us up because I got another great testimonial after this. But man, I loved your time today. I loved your story, Braden. And you guys are also doing EXP Explained events now. Is that correct?
Yeah. Come on out, man. We're going to do the next one October 5th in the Northeast. So I'll post it on my Facebook and stuff. But you should come out and bring some folks.
All right. Yeah, no, I'm definitely coming. I had my own action-oriented agent event at that same time. So you guys schedule not second Wednesdays. Change your time up, because that's
it'll be first Wednesday next time. And then we'll probably do some different days of the week for people that have things on Wednesdays. But
No, it's totally fine. But I'm definitely coming to the next one. Anybody else that wants to get introduced to Braden and want to figure out what partnering with him would look like, or you want to learn more about eXp, Braden, you can go to Braden's event and the eXp Explained events that they have here in Columbia, or you could reach out to Braden. Braden, how do people get a hold of you?
Braden at extramileforyou.com or 803-603-9540 or just extramileforyou.com website, all spelled out.
Extra Mile Team. Cool, man. I'm excited to see what you guys do. Thank you again for your time, Braden. I really appreciate you. And this video will be out there on YouTube if you want to grab it and share it with someone. So thank you again, Braden. I
Thanks for
appreciate
setting this up, Jacob. I really appreciate it.
Hey, no worries, man. I love it.
All right.
Love your story. Keep it up. Keep up the good work, man. And I will definitely be at the next eXp Explained event that you guys have. So with that, we're wrapping up, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Braden, peace out. And everyone else, we'll see you on the next one.
See ya.